GM, everyone. So, let's do trade of the day. Excuse me, trade of the day. All right. Let's go on some 4-hour charts. Let's take off the bands. Let's look at these charts. Maybe I should leave volume on. Yeah, I want to have volume on. And let's analyze volume alone first, actually. Looking at the few charts that I'd set up. So, there we are. All right. Ethereum, first of all. I laid out more of the plan for it on daily levels, so Ethereum's fine. Ondo. So I've been looking at Ondo, wanting to trade it, following this path that I mentioned the other day. Nice value area high flip in the consolidation below all-time high. Broke out, moving up, clear volume divergence. So again, just a bit of patience required on Ondo. As price moves up, volume's been declining. And it's now starting to kind of chop around. Instead of a strong uptrend here, it's trending. It's now sideways. It's come all the way back to that level. And I'm pretty confident that this path I drew is probably going to lead Ondo into a mini distribution. Then we drop back and we might get that retest of this previous all-time high level, which seems like a good area to buy a dip on Ondo, potentially. Not sure exactly when that'll be, but the good thing is we don't need to rush, do we? We can have patience. The alternative for Ondo would be that it doesn't come all the way back, right? Maybe it consolidates here and then goes higher. If so, the next valid breakout after a pullback would be where you're looking to trade momentum. You know, this part here, the next breakout. If you view it like almost like a Wyckoff, right? You've had your buying climax and then you've had your phase B, C, and D. It doesn't matter the exact events, but you've had your end, you've had your climax, buying climax, you've had your consolidation where it's building a cause, right? And then you've had a trend through the range, consolidating, top right hand corner, breaks out. What you're looking at here is the back up to the edge of the creek, VUEC, if you're looking at it from like a Wyckoff perspective. And if you see, let me find the one actually in my lesson. It's the one I should be using. Wyckoff, and we're looking at the schematics, horizontal, looking at this. And we're looking at an accumulation, right? Where are we? There we go. Accumulation structure. You're looking at this red box here. So what you're looking at for Ondo is it's broken out and you're looking for it to come back and hold and show strength at the breakout point. So that's pretty much exactly what I've drawn there. Now don't get tied into it exactly following that path. Remember, that's just one rough path that you could see for Ondo. It's obviously following it pretty well so far, but that's just one idea. The main thing you're looking for is how does Ondo behave in this area here. It could come back down and retest it like that and start to show strength. If so, you're looking at it to trend up to a new level, right? So that's Ondo. I think some trades might present themselves on Ondo coming up soon. Volume would indicate to me that Ondo is not going to keep pushing in the near term. Pepe, so I'm long Pepe at the moment. I mentioned this over the last few days, right? The different paths for Pepe that you could see. Value area was the main one. Pepe moved up into the highs. The value area of this entire trend up is where Pepe had consolidated. It flipped it here with this impulse candle and consolidation. We have now a confirmed long breakout. Volume is not increasing, but there aren't impulsive candles with it. So this is one of those just where it drifts higher, and this can happen. You know, this is very common, where you don't have to see necessarily huge volume as something rises until you get the impulse candles, right? It just sort of drifts higher, like it did over here. just sort of drifting and drifting and drifting and drifting and drifting. There was no high volume in here until you got the big impulsive candles, and then that's when the volume came in. And Pepe might be doing that same thing, where it's just currently kind of grinding, and you might see an impulse candle above the next level. Ignore the price, by the way. People ask this. The price on this chart isn't accurate because I'm combining the perps and the spot. And the perps are done with 1,000 Pepe contracts, and the spot is done with the spot price. So when you combine those, it doesn't give you an exact number because it's two different contracts. But I do that for the volume. I want to have the volume profile across the 4 different most traded Pepe markets. So I look at Pepe and really think from here, I think Pepe should start to accelerate if it is going to be continuing. And it really should not fall back into this value area. That would be my view. That would be like where I would say the long breakout is wrong. And if we're saying the long breakout's wrong, then you're looking at Pepe, to drift lower to other levels. If you're looking at then Pepe against Bitcoin and Pepe against ETH, it points towards continuation because it's in a really strong, basically getting into a blow off top type of structure. This is usually where it continues, right? This is usually where it accelerates and price goes crazy and things get a bit wild. I'm not saying it will, but certainly I wouldn't be surprised if Pepe's price doubles or triples from here as it goes into the aggressive acceleration part of its blow off top. If that's going to happen. That might not happen, but certainly the Bitcoin chart would tell you that this is the big Pepe move, and Pepe is the most aggressively trending coin in the market. Like, these type of blow off top moves can and do get crazy. And so I trade them from a low time frame perspective, expecting very, very little to no pullback until it has, a major move. And, I'll go to a fresh chart. Pepe could go fucking anywhere, right? This is the crazy thing about these moves is you don't know. It might go blow off top in one move like that and be done. It might have one more push and then go into a sideways for a few weeks before the final push. And of course it could, this is the least likely in my opinion, it could reject and go lower. But nothing is pointing towards that. The chance for it to do that was over here. It's now clearly broken out and trending out. This is far more likely to do one of those two other paths that I mentioned. Either it forms a base here for the final third leg, right? You've had kind of the first push, we're in the second push, or it just speed runs all that and goes straight in to the final move, right? Those are the ones I'm expecting. And it can get crazy, right? From here, it could double, it could triple in a very short space of time. But don't expect that, right? Don't be like, oh, easy money, buy Pepe, it's going to 3x. No, I mean, Pepe is already multi-billion. Pepe is 6 or 7 billion market cap right now. So no, you don't just get a free trade for it to go that high. But if you focus on the trades on the long side, I think you will do better. And it is one of those areas where you're not going to see pullbacks. Like 7 billion. I mean, Pepe can get pretty crazy from here. Chainlink, last one, check in on. So I'm looking, it's very, very close to doing exactly what I wanted to do with this blue path, right? Where you see it consolidate, try and break below the value area low, and this value area low. I'll take that one off. This one, this blue zone. It's testing around the lower end of it. And if it does, I think it'll hold and it'll move to the upper end. And so the longer it's consolidating up here and building value, the better it looks for me. So one of the ways I would trade it would be if it tries to go down and comes back inside, I would get long. And if this structure holds, the breakout should probably take it pretty quickly to 20 and a half. And there'd be a trade in that area there. So Chainlink's one probably for maybe a few days away if the market remains bullish. So that's me for trade of the day. I think Ondo is the one that's going to take longest to set up a good trade, probably. Pepe, I think, is the one to focus on. Obviously Ethereum as well, but I think Pepe immediately seems to have the more momentum. And I think Chainlink is probably setting up a decent trade pretty soon. And that's it. GM, GM, GM.